Hello, how are you? I'm a little tired. Sit down, please. I'd like to speak English today too, to improve my speaking skill. Let's get it started. Today it is October 16th, 2022. It's on Sunday. How do you, how are you spending Sunday today? It's sunny outside, so it's a good idea to dry foot on outside. The travel campaign had started recently, but unfortunately, my accommodation plan has not met the requirement, so I could not get the discount. According to the requirement, the accommodation fee per person has to be go beyond 5,000 yen. But my plan was beyond the price. Unfortunately, I should have read the requirement better before the reservation. But total fee is beyond 5,000 yen. Because it is a triple room. There are 3 beds in one room. And the total fee is beyond 10,000 yen. So I thought I could get the discount, but according to the requirement, 5,000 yen has to be surpassed per person. What do you think of euthanasia and death with dignity? Death with dignity. Please do not commit a suicide. Please do not commit a suicide, nor crime. Please do not commit a suicide, nor a crime. Please do not commit a suicide, nor a crime. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal attempt. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Suicidal. 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 Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Suicidal. Suicidal. Please do not even try suicidal attempt. Suicidal. 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 Suicidal attempts. Please do not even try a suicidal attempt. Driving along the coastline during the typhoon is a suicidal attempt. Suicidal act. Suicidal action. Suicidal attempt. Suicidal act. Driving along the coastline during the typhoon is the same as a suicidal attempt, suicidal act, suicidal action. Driving along the coastline during the typhoon is a suicidal act, suicidal act, and suicidal action. Swimming in the sea during the typhoon is a suicidal act, suicidal attempt, suicidal action, suicidal movement. Swimming in the ocean during the typhoon is a suicidal attempt, suicidal action, act, movement. Not studying will be a suicidal act to your brain. Not reading a book might be a suicidal act to your brain. Suicidal. Swimming in the sea during the typhoon is a suicidal act, suicidal act, suicidal action, suicidal, 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 suicidal. Suicidal. Suicidal, suicidal. I watched a demonstration going through the capital claiming for something. I watched many people demonstrating against the ban on abortion on TV. I watched such many people demonstrating in the capital against the ban on abortion. What do you think of abortion? Have you had an abortion? Have you had an abortion? I watched many people demonstrating against the ban on abortion on TV. I watched on TV of many people working against demonstrating against the ban on abortion. I watched many people against the ban on abortion. I watched many people working against the ban on abortion on TV. I watched many people demonstrating against the ban on abortion. I watched many people demonstrating against the ban on abortion on TV. What do you think of the abortion? The woman has over her two minds whether to have an abortion. The woman is of two minds whether to have an abortion. The woman is of two minds. The woman is of two minds whether to have an abortion. The woman is in two minds about whether she should have an abortion. She should have an abortion. The woman is of two minds whether or not she should have an abortion. The woman is in two minds regarding whether to have an abortion. The PAC-3 succeeded in aborting a missile attack. The machine can abort a missile attack beforehand, before it lands on the continent. The heavy rain aborted many events. The pandemic aborted many events. The pandemic aborted many events. The inclement weather aborted the flight. The typhoon aborted the sports meeting, which many students were looking forward to. The inclement weather aborted the flight. The inclement weather aborted many flights. The typhoon aborted many flights, events, and festivals. The typhoon aborted many 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 festivals. The unwanted pregnant aborted her decision to give a birth. The unwanted pregnant made her abort herself. The unwanted pregnant aborted herself, aborted her decision, aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her, aborted her, aborted her, aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The inclement weather aborted many flights. The rain aborted the sports meeting. The rain aborted many events. The typhoon aborted many events. The typhoon aborted many events. Events. The typhoon aborted many 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 events. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The unwanted pregnant aborted her. The governor has a right to abort the festival. The governor has a right to abort the festival. The governor has a right to abort, cancel the qualification to those who breached the law, breached the rule. The governor has a right to cancel the qualification or license to those of those who breached, violated, intruded on the law, rule, policy, and so on. The governor has the right to cancel the license of those who breached the law, rule, policy, and so on. Have you had a abortive experience? Have you had an abortive experience? Have you had an abortive experience? Have you had an abortive experience? Abortive, abortive. The project wound up abortive thing. The project was abortive. The project was abortive. Have you had an abortive experience? Do you have 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 an abortive experience? Abortive. Do you have an abortive experience? Do you have an abortive experience? Abortive. Do you have an abortive experience? 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 What is the difference between stem and stalk? By focusing on the details such as roots, stem, and branches, you can appreciate more about bonsai. You can enjoy appreciating bonsai more. Many the festivals, Japanese festivals usually stem from Shinto rituals to pray for good harvest. I was surprised at the size of the stem of the cedar tree. I was surprised at the size of the stem of the cedar tree. It was so huge. I couldn't hack all of them. I could hack about a quarter of it. It was so huge. I could hack a quarter of it, not all of them. It was so huge. I could hack only a quarter of it. A quarter of it. Stem and stalk. Stem and stalk. Stem. Stem of the tree. I saw people touching or hugging the stem of the cedar tree to gain power from it. I saw people touching or hugging the stem of the tree. Stem. Stem. Stem of the tree. Stem. 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 Stem of the tree. Stem of the tree. I saw people touching or hugging the stem of the cedar tree to obtain power from it. Stem, 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 stem. Stem, 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 stem. stem, stalk, stem, stalk. What is the difference between stem and stalk? By focusing on the details such as roots, stems, and branches, you can appreciate both and more. I saw people touching the stem of the cedar tree. I saw people hugging the stem of the tree. Stem. I saw people hugging the stem of the cedar tree. Stem. The stem of the tree is getting bigger. The stem of the tree has been bigger and bigger. Stem and stalk. Stem and stalk. Mistakes usually stem from a lack of preparation. Mistakes can happen even with a lot of preparation. Mistakes can happen, arouse, stem. Mistakes can stem even with a lot of enough preparation, But without preparation, more mistakes will stem. Without preparation, more mistakes will stem. But for your advice, more mistakes would have happened, would have stemmed. Why not for your advice? More mistakes would stem. If it had not been for your advice, more mistakes would have stemmed. Had it not been for your advice, more mistakes would have happened, would have stemmed. If it had not been for your advice, more mistakes would have happened. Might have happened. Even with enough preparation, mistakes can stem. Even with enough preparation, a mistake can stem. An earthquake stems frequently. Earthquakes stem frequently. Without preparation, mistakes will frequently stem. Mistakes will frequently stem. Mistakes will frequently stem without preparation. This careless mistake can stem without preparation if you don't have preparation. The mistake stemmed due to a lack of preparation. The careless mistake was made due to his lack of preparation, short of preparation. Tsunami can stem after the earthquake. 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 I hope tsunami will not stem after the earthquake. Power outages stemmed after the typhoon passed. The blackout stemmed at the same time of the typhoon hit the region. The blackout or power outages stemmed when a typhoon passed by the region. The sumo stems from Shinto ritual. Sumo stems from Shinto ritual. Sumo derives from Shinto ritual. I derive my happiness from studying. I derive my happiness from what I like to do. The center is specialized in stem cell research. The department is specialized in stem cell research. Stem cell research. What is stem cell? Tissue is composed of the mass of cells, right? The tissue consists of cells. The tissue consists of the cells, right? Stem cell. 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 stem cell, stem cell, stem cell, stem cell, stem cell. Are you familiar with genetics? Have you majored in 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 genetics? Genetics. Are you interested in genetics? Do you have the interest in genetics? Do you have the interest in genetics? Are you interested in genetics? Are you interested in genetics? Are you interested in genetics? Genetics. The students are learning genetics. I've learned about genetics, but I forgot almost everything. I learned about genetics at the school, but I forgot everything. It's too difficult for me. Genetics. 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 I learned about genetics at the school, but I forgot. I learned about genetics. I learned about genetics when I was a student at the university. It was not my major course. It was not my specialty, so I forgot almost everything. But I had to take some courses which are not related to my specialty. Genetics, genetic, genetic, genetic. Some personalities will be passed down from our parents. This is genetic. Genetics, genetic, genetics, genetic, genetic, genetic. Some personalities or characters will be passed down, handed down, passed down from our parents, which is genetic, genetic, genetic. My stubborn personality might be due to genetic from my parents, especially from my father. Stubborn, obstinate, stubborn, obstinate. My stubborn and obstinate personality might be due to the genetic from my father. genetic, 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 genetic. Genetic, genetic engineering, genetic engineering, genetic engineering, genetic engineering. Genetic matter, genetic things, genetic stuff, genetic procedure, genetic treatment. Genetic theme, genetic subject, genetic things. Genetic study, genetic study. Genetic engineering, genetic engineering. Gene, genetic, gene. Genome, gene. DNA, gene. I'm not familiar with gene or DNA, but I've heard the names. That's it. That's all. Gene. Gene recombination. Gene recombination. I got a medicine of gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination. I have used the medicine of gene recombination for my skin problems. I got the medicine from the doctor. It worked well, but I was afraid of that because it was gene recombination. It was gene recombination. Gene recombination. Gene recombination. Gene recombination. Gene therapy. Gene therapy. Have you got a gene therapy? Have you got a gene therapy? Gene therapy is now available for some diseases. Gene recombination. Gene recombination might help treat some diseases, but I don't know where at all how risky it is. Gene therapy now available, but I'm not sure about the risk, how risky it is. Gene recombination, 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 gene recombination. Gene. G recombination, 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 gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination, gene recombination. Genetical. What is the difference between genetic and genetical? Genetical. Early gray hair might be genetic from their parents. Genetical. Genetical. Weak at alcohol might be genetical from my parents. Weak at alcohol might be genetical from my parents. Genetical. 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 Being weak at alcohol might be genetical from my parents. Genetical. Genetical. Being weak at alcohol might be genetical from my parents. Genetical. 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 Genetically. I'm weak at alcohol genetically, I think. Genetically. I'm very weak at alcohol genetically. 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 Some characters and personalities will be passed down from their parents genetically. The characters will be passed down from our parents genetically. Many things in common will be passed down from our parents genetically. Many things in common will be passed down from our parents genetically. 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 I'm very weak at alcohol genetically. I think I'm very bad at being in a group genetically, I think. Genetically. Genetically. I think I can pursue one thing for a long time genetically. I think I can pursue one thing for a long time or forever genetically. Thanks to the existence of the opponents, we can do our best. We can do a lot of efforts so that we can go beyond them, surpass them. And thanks to the existence of the opponents, we can do our efforts so that we can surpass them, trying to surpass them, by trying to surpass them in anything, everything. A political opponent, a political opponent, 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 opponent. The team, which was predicted to win the match easily, lost to the opponent, which surprised us all, which took us all by surprise. The strongest team in the prefecture, also predicted to win the match, lost to the opponent, which surprised us all, which took us by surprise. Someone took hold of my hand. I felt someone took hold of my hand. I felt someone taking hold of my hand. I loved my friend taking hold of my clothes in the haunted house. I loved my friend taking hold of my clothes in the haunted house. It was so lovely. There are both supportive and opponents. There are both supporters and opponents. There are always both supporters and opponents. There are always both supporters and opponents. Opponent. Thanks to the existence of the opponents, we can do our efforts. The opponent team is said to be the strongest in the prefecture. The opponent team is said to be the strongest in the region. The opponent team is said to be the champion of the last years. A political opponent. 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 A political opponent. A political opponent. A political opponent. There are always supporting and opponent people towards something policy. The opponent group against the policy demonstrated by walking along the walkway. Some people are opponent against the policy. Some people are opponent against the policy. Some people are opponent against the newly enacted policy. Are you opponent against the policy? 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 The both countries are opponent each other. The both countries are opponent. The student used to be opponent to me, but with time they started to open the door to me. The students used to be opponent to me, but with time, over time, they started to be open to me. Opponent, 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 opponent. My parents used to be opponent against regarding my studying abroad. But when I showed my academic accomplishments and persuasion from my teacher, they finally allowed me to study abroad. Some people were opponent regarding the decision by the governor. But with time, it turned out to be a good decision, best decision. It proved to be a good decision. I enjoyed exploring the region by bike. I like to explore the region I don't know, I haven't visited by bike. I'd like to explore the region which I haven't been to by bike. I enjoyed exploring the region when I was a university student. Explore a problem, explore a problem, explore a problem, explore a problem, explore problem, explore problem. The detectives are exploring the problem, the venue, the criminal venue. The detectives are exploring the 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 venue. I used to like explore the mountain, like adventure. It was adventuristic. I used to like explore the mountain with my friends. It was very adventurous. I use branches as a sword, and it was very like a story, like adventure. It was like a movie like adventure. I liked it. I like to explore the mountain with branches, making believe that we were heroes. What are you exploring in the research? What are you exploring in the research? What are you exploring in the research? The detectives and police officers exploring the venue in which a crime happened, stemmed, aroused. Some detectives and police officers are exploring the venue where a crime stemmed, aroused, happened, came about, broke out. Explore problem. We are exploring the datas. 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 The space probe is now exploring the asteroid. The space probe succeeded in gathering particles from the asteroid and bring them back to the Earth for the first time. This mission was called Sample Return. The space probe has been exploring around the asteroid, minor planet, asteroid. The space probe has been going around the asteroid and exploring around it, exploring the asteroid from a distance by taking pictures and so on. The space probe has been exploring the asteroid. The space probe has been exploring the asteroid. Exploration. Do you like exploration? Yes, I like exploration. I like the exploration of the region which I went for the first time by bike. Exploration, 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 explore, exploration, 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 explorer, explorer, exploration, 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 explorer. Are you an explorer? Do you want to be an explorer? Do you want to be an explorer? Explorer, explorer, explorer. Would you like to be an explorer? Would you like to be an explorer? When I was exploring the mountain, I felt like an explorer myself. Explorer myself. Explorer. Explorer found fossil fuels. The explorers found some fossils while the exploration. The explorer found some fossils during the expedition to the deserted island. The explorer found fossils during his expedition to the deserted island. Explorer, 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 explorer. In companies, our positions are defined clearly. In a company, positions are defined clearly. Please define your decisions before submitting the application to me. When I submitted the application to the society, my decision was not defined. I guess many students are not defined about what they want to do before they submit their resume to the companies. I'm sure that many students are not defined about what they want to do in their lives or in the future as a job when they submit their resume to the companies for a work job. Let's define the criteria so that the campaign won't the customers confused. Let's define the criteria clearly so that the campaign won't make the customers confused. Let's make the definition clear. Let's make the definition clear. Let's define the criteria clear, so that the customers won't get confused. The governor has defined the date of his last office duty. Our positions are usually defined in a company. Our positions are usually defined clearly in the company. Our positions are defined in the company. I'm sure many students are not defined as for what they want to do as a job when they send their resumes to the companies. I'm sure that many students are not defined. I'm sure that many students haven't defined what they want to do in their jobs when they submit their resume to the companies. I'm sure that many students have not defined what they want to do as jobs when they send the resumes to the companies. It's very difficult to find ourselves and what we want to do in the future. In early teenage or in early 20s. By the time we graduate from university or high school, it's too early. I'm sure that many students have not defined what they want to do in their jobs by the time they enter a company or something like that. I guess many students haven't defined what they want to do in their jobs, in their work, by the time they have graduated from university or high school. It's too early to decide something clearly at early 20s. What is the word defined? I consulted the dictionary. I consulted the meaning of the word in dictionary and checked the definition. The speed of light is defined as the fastest in the universe, according to the equation. As a prerequisite, the speed of the light is defined as the fastest in the universe. As the prerequisite of the equation, the speed of light is the fastest in the universe. As the prerequisite, the speed of light is defined as the fastest in the universe. As the prerequisite, the speed of light is defined as the fastest in the universe. Definition. What is the definition of the universe? What is definition of the equation? What are the definitions of the equation? Bioethics. Some treatments might violate ethics. Some medical treatments might intrude on ethics. Moral ethics. Some medical treatments might intrude on ethics. Bioethics. 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 Are you interested in bioethics? Are you interested in bioethics? I haven't majored in bioethics. Bioethics appeared in the Modern Society textbook, so I learned a little bit about bioethics from the Modern Society textbook. Bioethics, 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 bioethics. Can I use margarine in place of butter? Can I take a paid leave on Monday in place of Friday? Can I take a paid leave on Monday in place of Friday? I know it's on short notice, but if it's possible, can I take a paid leave on Monday in place of Friday? I know it is on short notice, and I feel sorry. I know, but it is possible. It is possible to take a paid leave on Monday in place of Friday, because I'd like to take 3 days off, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, if possible. We went to the ramen shop in place of the regular restaurant this time for lunch. A fruit arrangement was served in place of the tempura arrangement. A fruit arrangement was served in place of the cake set due to my allergy. The temperature will go down in proportion to the height. The temperature will go down in proportion to the height. Your knowledge or skill will go up in proportion to your practice and effort and study. Your academic accomplishment will go up in proportion to the amount of your study. Payment used to be raised in proportion to the length of services in the past. Payment used to be raised in proportion with the length of the services in the same company. In proportion to A. In proportion to the length of the service. In proportion with the length of the service. Our knowledge will go up in proportion to the length of the study, the amount of the study. Our skill will go up in proportion with the amount of our practice. Our skill will go up in proportion to the amount of our practice. Our knowledge will go up. Our knowledge will increase in proportion to our study, in proportion to the amount of study, in proportion with the study, the amount of study. Our knowledge will increase in proportion to the amount of study. Our knowledge will increase in proportion with the amount of study. In part-time job, our salary will increase in proportion to the length of the services. In part-time job, our salary will increase in proportion with the length of the service. In proportion with, in proportion with, in proportion to, in proportion with, Our knowledge will increase in proportion to the amount of study. Our knowledge will increase in the proportion with the amount of the study. The musician appeared to the stage again in response to the fans' expectations. We sometimes don't have to meet everyone's expectation. It's not possible to meet everyone's expectation. The musician appeared to the stage again in response to the fans' expectation. The musician sang another song after the concert in response to the fans' expectation request. The musician played another song in response to the fans' request. The store replied my message in response to my request. Questions. The store replied my message so fast, so quickly, in 1 hour in response to my questions. The answers were sent to my address with the letter in response to my questions. The past questions were sent to my address in the envelope in response to my request. The festival was held this time since 2 years in response to the participants' request. The 3rd edition of the encyclopedia will come out in response to the fans. The 8th of the video game is going to be released in response to the fans. We went to the street in search of the jewelry dropped by the girl. The locals pitched in search of the missing girl. The locals, police officers, and others pitched in, collaborated in search of the missing girl. The locals cooperated in missing the girl, in finding the missing girl, searching for the missing girl, looking for the missing girl. Many people rushed to the stores in search of masks after the pandemic, soon after the pandemic. Many people rushed to the stores in search of the masks, soon after the pandemic. In spite of the rain, the festival will be held. In spite of heavy snow outside, she was enjoying surfing. In spite of the tiredness, I was made to work overtime. I was obliged to work overtime. I was forced to work overtime. In terms of your performance, it left nothing to be desired. Perfect. The politician did not refer to the delicate problems. The politician did not refer in terms of delicate problems. We might notice the importance of the health in the face of serious disease. We might recognize the importance of the health in the face of heavy diseases, catching cold, getting cold, maybe. We might realize how important our health is in the face of catching a cold, or coming down with a cold, or coming down with a disease. We might realize the importance of the health in the face of coming down with a cold disease. Have you come down with a flu? 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 We might realize the importance of the health in the face of a disease. We might notice the importance of the health in the face of disease. I'm sure many of us will realize the importance of studying in the face of the difficulties in the society. We will realize how difficult it is living in the society in the face of difficulties. I hope the gas will not run out in the middle of the mountain. I hope the gas of the car will not run short in the middle of the mountain. My car is running out of the gas. My car is running out of the gas. Running out of the gas. My car is running short of the gas. Petroleum. Running out of the gas. My car is running out of the gas. I hope my car will not. I hope the petroleum will not run short in the middle of the mountain. I had to make a speech on behalf of my boss. I had to make a speech, deliver a speech in behalf of my boss. The 5 athletes chosen from the competition will run 100 meters run on behalf of the country. The athletes chosen from the competition will participate in the game on behalf of the country. In behalf of. The CEO of the company made an apology to the customers on behalf of the company. The chief executive officer apologized to the customers who got injured from the product of the company on behalf of the company. The general director of the company made apologies to the customers who got damaged by the product of the company on behalf of the company, in behalf of the company, in behalf of the company, on behalf of the company, in behalf of the company. The sports meeting has been postponed on account of rain. Owing to rain, because of rain, due to rain. The sports meeting has been put off on account of rain. On the occasion of emergency, we are allowed to use the outside steps from the emergency exit. On the occasion of emergency, we are allowed to use the outside steps from the emergency exit. On the occasion of fire, we are allowed to use the extinguisher attached in some parts of the hotel. On the occasion of emergency, I'm sure you will call your mother. On the occasion of emergency, you will call your mother. On the occasion of rain, the event will change into something in the facility. On the occasion of rain, the event will be held inside. On the occasion of rain, the event will be held inside. On the occasion of rain, the event will take place inside. On the occasion of, on the occasion of, on the occasion of, on the occasion of. I tend to call my best friend on occasion of something happened, on occasion of something special. We tend to take a picture on occasion of finding something special. We are inclined to take a picture on occasion of finding something special in life. We are apt to take a picture on occasion of finding something special. On the occasion of. On the occasion of. On the occasion of emergency, we are allowed to use the outside steps to evacuate. On top of a pile of tasks, a heap of tasks, we were forced to work overtime. On top of the set menu A, she ordered set menu B, which surprised us all. Many students go to a cram school on top of the school activity. Many students go to club activities on top of school days. On top of school days. On top of that. Many students in Japan go to a cram school on top of the school activities. Many Japanese school students belong to club activities on top of the school days. On top of winning the lottery, he won much money at gambling. He was lucky. He was super lucky. On top of winning the lottery, he won much money at gambling. With regard to sushi, with regard to onigiri, which fillings do you like? Which fillings? Which fillings do you like? With respect to onigiri, rice balls, which fillings do you like? With respect to onigiri, Japanese rice balls, which fillings do you like? In respect to onigiri, which fillings do you like? In relation to onigiris, which fillings do you like? With relation to onigiri, which fillings do you like? I often find unique fillings in onigiri whenever I go to a foreign country. Regarding onigiri, which fillings do you like? Regarding onigiri, which fillings do you like? As for onigiri, which fillings do you like? As to onigiri, which fillings do you like? With regard to the examination, one of the examination of the three, which consists of inclusive subjects such as mathematics, physics, Japanese language, modern society, history, and so on, I could My grade was more than passing grades. I could get scores more than passing grade. To my surprise, I could get more scores. I could get more scores than the passing grade. With regard to your performance, it left nothing to be desired. In regard to your performance, it left nothing to be desired. In respect to your performance, it left nothing to be desired. In regard to your performance, it left nothing to be desired. With regard to sushi, which fish do you like? With respect to sushi, which fish do you like? In regard to sushi, which fish do you like? In respect to sushi, which fish do you like? Okay, I will finish speaking here. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you.